What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Les Alex, along with Flippin' Steve. How's everybody doing tonight? We're just wanted to do this live stream for you all. If you're watching this after the fact, make sure to smash that like and that subscribe button. If you're new here, join the team, get in those comments, all that fun stuff. But yeah, we just wanted to do this live stream to just talk some sports cards. Looking more and more like hockey and basketball are going to be coming back. So kind of talk about how we think that, playoffs are going to affect prices on some of those sports and some of those cards. And then we can talk just about Project 2020 and talk to the community. How's everybody doing in chat? Looks like we got Cardboard Max, Ethan Levy, Eagles football fan, Richard James, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. O&T. Thanks everybody for kicking it with us tonight. Steve, how's it going, man?
Good. Little technical difficulties. Sorry, we got a late start, but what's important is talking about the cards. So
yes, sir.
Or the community as well.
And we could talk. We had kick it over to eBay after a while, but it's looking more and more like basketball's at least going to be back. What are your thoughts off the rip on what cards could see an immediate impact because of that announcement when they finally do say, okay, it's the green light, it's go time?
Well, immediately I'm going to say Giannis, because Giannis surprisingly has been the player that during this whole COVID-19 has been the one nobody's been talking about. Everybody's still all over LeBron, and Luka cards have already started to shoot back up.
Yeah.
And Giannis cards, I mean, really, he was the talk of the hobby before COVID, and nobody
absolutely.
I don't get it. Nobody has talked about Giannis. I think his cards are expensive, but in comparison to the other superstars that everybody's talking about, they just don't mention his name enough.
Yeah, he was definitely on fire before all this, broke, before all this kind of went down. Yeah, him and Zion were like the two names you heard the most, but
yeah, and Zion's coming back down a little bit. Like if you've noticed on the market, his cards are starting to come back to earth. But even Jason Tatum's getting a lot more love than Giannis is right now, and the Bucks are still the favorite in the East, I think. I'm a Celtics fan, so
nice.
I'm mine to see the Celtics win, but Tatum cards are just climbing, and Luka is climbing. And Giannis just tends to be treading right there where he's been.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I think both him and LeBron have a good shot at winning MVP. I don't think really anybody else is a serious contender for MVP this year. So, the playoffs, depending upon how the Bucks do, it's kind of before this all hit, it was looking like the Lakers and the Bucks kind of had a crash course in the finals. So it'll be interesting if he can win a championship, and especially if he beats LeBron-led Lakers, like that hit all of his cards, I think across the board are just going to skyrocket. Do you agree or do you?
Well, yeah, for sure. It's hard to get in on Giannis now because he's already expensive,
Yeah. Very true.
But I just think that people are talking about the top 5 players, even if when you're watching ESPN and stuff, people are talking about the top 5 players, the hottest players, the young players. And Giannis's name is just not coming up. I don't get how all of a sudden everybody seems to have forgotten about him.
I don't know. I think because everybody's kind of got all this time on their hands, it's kind of made everybody scramble for like who to really invest in,
And I think what everybody wants Luka to win. Everybody wants the Mavericks to win. The Luka cards are going up. They're hoping that they can pull off a first round upset or something. Dallas might get the Clippers in the first round, and you could see that could be an upset. And if it is an upset, then the Luka cards are going to be untouchable. But I just don't know if that upset's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going to be scrambling for who's in the second round because Luka's out.
No, absolutely. And we really don't know yet how the playoff structure is going to be. Because they announced the NHL announced their playoff structure. I mean, 77% of the entire NHL is making the playoffs, and it's been suggested by some pretty, Pat McAfee. He's got that podcast and has a really awesome YouTube channel. He suggested that just the NBA do that, just like do the kind of bracket thing where you have a round robin teams for the top 4 to kind of decide how seeding goes, which I think that would be probably the most fair way, just because, there are some bubble teams, and it would be, probably pretty fair to do that. But
there were some teams right on the fringe of being out, and some teams of being on the fringe of being in. That could make a huge difference. I mean, the Pelicans were still realistically in it. Which would definitely be driving the Zion stuff. But, in this scenario that they may use now, whether it's shortened games or going straight into a playoff structure, I think you're already seeing it being reflected in the Zion cards. The prisms are just coming down. I mean, you knew it was going to happen. Just didn't know when and what was going to cause it. And everybody's putting their money into playoff players. And, Trae Young and Zion, these guys are we're buying them now, actually, for next season. But
for sure. And I have here now the playoff bracket, or not the brackets, but the standing as the end of the season. So if they were to start up and have a normal playoff series, obviously top 8 from both conference. What's up, Sean? Owen, how's it going? Rick can't. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay, Rick. Thanks for checking in. E-Man, how's it going? I think they should kind of do some kind of bracket, how the NHL is doing it. Just because you got the Trailblazers and the Pelicans potentially could have made it, which is, they're under 500, which is crazy, but it's crazy, but they could have made it. They could have. Obviously the East is a little bit different. There's a bunch of teams that are just kind of hot trash, but
and there's a bunch of teams in the East also that are jumbled up. In the East, I think that Miami can surprise a lot of people depending on how they play, because they put a good beat down on the Bucks not long before the break. And they got a good squad there with the Heat. They're well balanced. I don't know if they can win a 7-game series against one of those top teams, but if I was to say that there was going to be an upset, it would be the Bucks. And I could see somebody like Tyler Hero getting hot, and making a name for himself in the playoffs. That's a low investment right now that I like. I like Hero stuff. I think he's just marketable, even if he doesn't get much play coming off the bench. But he's a shooter. He's got a good look. I just think he's very marketable right now. And
absolutely.
If they can pull off like a round 1 upset on somebody, I think that, especially if he has some big games, he'll be somebody that'll be a flip for the playoffs, for the playoff run. And there's a lot of guys that I like that are low investments, because I like the buy low guys.
For sure.
I think the Lakers are going to need somebody else to step up. When they start playing some of these tougher teams in 7-game series, and it's Anthony Davis and LeBron, and teams are going to clamp down on those guys. And I think Kyle Kuzma can be a guy that can put up 15 or 20.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. I've been low key picking up some Kuzma rated rook, just optics. I'm always trying to look for, the bargains out there. So the optics are really just like dirt cheap. And some of the blue velocity optics, those are.
I bought a lot of them for $2 each. And it's this card, even if you just want to flip it raw and not have to worry about the headache of grading and waiting.
Exactly.
It's you buy it for $2 and he puts up a good playoff game. It's a $10 flip. You buy 10 of those, you make yourself a little bit of money that you can put into something bigger. That's what I like to do. I like to snowball the smaller cards.
Yeah.
Concrete cards.
That's what I like to do too. Kind of just, make $10-15 here and then turn it into maybe $100 card,
Yeah. And then start buying those guarantee guys that are just it's kind of like I look at it as like rolling stocks into like bonds.
Yeah,
Using your stocks to get you a lot of money and then rolling it into like guaranteed bonds,
sure.
and buying like Kobe and Pujols in baseball. You're all over Pujols. You know
Oh
how good.
yeah, I've been. We had that conversation
Yeah,
about a month ago now, but yeah,
yeah, just guys that are safe.
super safe. Yeah, you know. But yeah, what's up? Hey, PSA collector, what's up, dude? How's it going? Thanks for hanging out. Martin Card, Sean, how's it going? Everyone needs to get on that Siakam train. Raptors are going to the finals again, boys. I like the positivity. What's that?
Spicy P is my guy. I've been killing it. I just back here, man. There's about 10 optics in there.
Nice.
There's 32 PSA 10s of that optic in the pop report, and you can buy that card for $8. That's an $8 card. It's an easy grade on an optic. It's just people aren't submitting them. It's not that there's only 32 PSA 10s because they're difficult. It's just people aren't submitting them, and I think it's a great submission because even if you get it back as a 9, it's a $40 or $50 sale because the 10s are pushing over $120. So you're looking at $8 for the card. You're looking at $10 to $12 on your shipping. If you got a $20 investment and you get a 9 and you're still going to make 40 or 50 out of it, it's just a no-brainer. Like I'm piling up my spicy peas back here, waiting to see them in. And just imagine if they go to the finals. I mean, he has carried that team. They were written off when Kawhi left, and
right.
who would have thought that they would be second in the East right now? They got a great coach. I mean, that's part of it, but Siakam has, just been the man.
I'm gonna check on NBA reference right now on Siakam. Just I'm a big numbers guy. Like before I pull the trigger really on anyone on any sport, I really like to dig into their numbers, and get it kind of like not even just from year to year, but even from week to week, month to month, especially in basketball. So let's take a look.
Siakam, he hasn't, he doesn't go out and put 30, but he doesn't go out and stink it up either. He's just a consistent player.
Yeah, so it's definitely been a breakout year for him. Obviously not having to share any time with Kawhi, I think, is definitely helped him. So that's definitely. I mean, he's 23. What is it? 23, 3, and how many boards? 1. So yeah, I mean,
he's got a really good story too. I think he's from Cameroon, so he's going to have that following from Africa and just international. And he wasn't even expected to be a basketball player. I don't even think he started playing basketball. I don't think he played like when he was young. Don't quote me on all this, but I believe he didn't even start playing until maybe he was 17 or 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah, basketball wasn't even supposed to be his profession, and that he ended up becoming a basketball player. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
he's got a good story. He's an underdog, on a team that's, even though they're second in the East, when you think about the Raptors, and they're the defending champs, but
they don't. It doesn't feel like it. The way that people are talking this year, you would not even know that they were the champs if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Curtis says, "What's up, guys? I'm happy today. My mom found 10 Shaq cards in her closet, mint rookies. Nice. Thinking of sending the best ones in. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
I have about 4 Shaqs in right now. They're the upper deck #1 draft picks, and they protect that card so bad. There's like no PSA 10s hardly in the population, but the gem rate on that is nearly impossible. I think they're selling over $2,000 now for a PSA 10 on the was a card 1A upper deck #1 draft pick. It looks like the trade card, but it's the #1 draft pick.
Yeah.
Card just has #1 draft pick at the top.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, does anybody else maybe in chat have anybody in the playoffs, how the playoffs could potentially affect prices? Siakam, somebody I honestly wasn't even on my radar. I'm looking more into like Kyle Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr. guys like that. Both Porter Juniors, actually.
I think Kevin Porter Jr. is a little bit of a longer hold, but I don't think Cleveland's going to make a playoff push.
And Michael Porter Jr. as well. And PJ.
Jaylen Brown from the Celtics. That's another one of those. That's another one of those third guys that's going to need to step up. Like you look at Kuzma, you look at Tatum, and you look at Kemba Walker, and then they're going to need a third player. You know, if they're going to get by the Bucks defense, or if they're going to get by even Toronto's defense, you know, somebody like Jaylen Brown's going to have to be big, and his stuff's pretty inexpensive right now too. I think his prisms raw are under $20, but his optics are the really good deal right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's, you know, where is it? Points per game. Where's PPG? There it is, 20. Yeah.
He's still young. I think he was, and wasn't he a top 5 pick? Maybe another third overall pick or something. He might be like 23. I'm just kind of winging off the top of my head.
Third pick, third overall. Yes, sir. So spot on. Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of what it seems like we're talking about here are the guys that may not be necessarily stars, but could have that big moment, that big, you know, breakout moment in the play. I forget the guy on the Raptors last season, VanFleet, I think is his name. I wonder what his cards did last year. If they moved at all, because he had that huge game in the finals last season where he was just draining threes left and right and really did like pretty much single-handedly won them that game.
Yeah, like honestly, I just started refollowing the NBA like this season. You know, I did see some of the finals, but I wasn't on all of the players like I am now. I've always been an NFL investor. I mean, that's where a lot of my knowledge is in football.
Right.
I'm kind of transferring it over to basketball. The basketball stuff is NFL is more volatile, but the basketball,
for sure.
The basketball stuff moves up and down constantly. Based on, you know, look at Kobe White went out and put up 3 30-point games in a row, and then all of a sudden he was, you know, Jordan. Just crazy, you know, and then he comes back out and has a pedestrian night. I think he's talented and he's a good shooter, but you know, you see those spikes, you see his prisms go from $5 raw to $30 raw, and you know, over 3 games. And to me, that's a big jump. To me, that's a sell. I mean, honestly, if I buy 10 of those for $5 and he jumps to $30 raw 3 days later, that's an insta flip. I'm not even gonna, you know, get them great.
I'm not even gonna mess with it. Looks like we got some other folks in chat. Where was it? Oh, Boris, Hobby Box. Hey, what's up, dude? Thanks for kicking it. Oh, Shea Gilchrist Alexander, too, is what chat's saying.
People are, you know, I haven't picked up any shy cards. I think I just got to it a little late. I don't like to chase. If I get to a player late, I just let it go.
That's true. That's very true, because it'll be guys, you know, that once, and I feel like, honestly, like YouTubers and kind of popular investors, even Gary V kind of, but even like other guys on YouTube, you know, once 3 or 4 folks start talking about them, it's almost too late, because you can go check. They'll say, hey, I bought this card for $3. You could check, and oh, it's $15 now.
Yeah, like Matt from PSA Collector says, you know, before the horde gets to him.
Yeah, the horde. Yeah, that's basically what it is too. Break Kid, how's it going, bud? Thanks for hanging out. Love your channel.
Well, Matt asked what everybody was buying. In football, I'm buying Aaron Rodgers. I know he's a little. I think his cards are low because people don't like his attitude, especially like in the media. They don't like his interviews. But when you look at the difference between a Drew Brees Topps rookie card going for around $1,000 and a PSA 10, and an Aaron Rodgers going for like $250, there's just a big gap there. I'm not saying it's going to be $1,000 card or should be $1,000 card because of Drew Brees, but you know, a $750 gap is too much. Just like when I was buying Deshaun Watson, because I was buying Deshaun Watson prisms because Patrick Mahomes prisms were at $2,000 and Deshaun Watson prisms were at $150. There was just too big of a gap. I wasn't comparing the players. I was just comparing the column. You know, I didn't think Mahomes was overpriced. I just thought that Watson was underpriced. So when I
Sure.
bought those up, and I've been selling those now for anywhere between $480 and $550, and I was buying those at $125 at card shows and deals. On eBay they were like $150, but when you go to a card show and they don't, they take out the eBay fees and stuff where you can buy stuff cheaper.
Right.
But I've got good flips off Deshaun Watson. I got laughed at for that pick by my friends at the card show with me because I was like, my target card. And when I go to a card show, I have a target card. If you go there,
oh yeah,
yeah. If you go
have a guy in mind, have a plan, have a backup guy in mind.
Right, or you walk to the first table and spend your whole budget. So,
see, I got Aaron Rodgers stuff on his Football Reference up. So 8 Pro Bowls, 2 All Pros, 1 Super Bowl championship, obviously, 2 MVPs, and whatever a Brett Bell award is. I'm not sure really what that is, but
when you compare him to Breeze, Breeze has a statistical numbers, and believe me, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, and Dan Marino is my all-time favorite. He had the statistics, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But he didn't have the championships. Breeze does have the championship, but I don't think Breeze has ever won an MVP. And you look at Aaron Rodgers has won 2 league MVPs. I mean, that's really huge. And he doesn't throw interceptions. He's very safe with the ball, but he still puts up stats.
Yeah. So here's Breeze and 13 Pro Bowls, 1 All Pro, 1 Super Bowl championship. Walter Payton Award several times, but no Super Bowl for Breeze. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has him beat. Obviously, yards 77,000.
Yeah, Breeze and Brady are currently breaking all of Peyton Manning's records.
Yeah,
but I was hard on Peyton. I was going hard on Peyton Manning back in like February. I was buying his stuff up for the Hall of Fame induction next year because he's going to be first ballot. And then he gave that speech on draft night about COVID and how everybody is a hero and how sports was going to make everybody, forget about what's going on. And his stuff, I was buying Bowman Chromes back when they were, 180. I was buying Bowman Chromes for PSA 10s for $180. And that night they were selling at $850 after that speech, which I didn't foresee that spike coming. Like I was waiting. For me, I was like, okay, I'm waiting for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, they spiked already. They have come back to around the $600, $650, but I'm still holding to the Hall of Fame. That was my initial investment. So that's what I'm just going to stick with. I wasn't going to quick flip them. Yeah. Manning has 5 MVPs. Like no one has ever in the NFL, the history of the NFL has won 5 MVPs. Brady has the championships, but Manning has 2. And to be honest, he was the most dominant player of that era. He just didn't have the championships. But if you look at the numbers, when he retired, he was the winningest quarterback of all time. And a lot of people would not know that. They would think that it was Brady because they played in the same era. But Manning had more wins.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Just playoff wins.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I know. Breeze did win a Super Bowl. Yeah. I know. It's just I said he didn't win an MVP. He never won an MVP though. But yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning's people are saying Peyton Manning. What's up? Central Valley Cards, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out. Curtis is 93 Shaq. I have 694 Upper Deck. Yeah, I mean, if you can a Shaq rookie, especially I forget which one it is, but
so are we talking 92, 93 Shaq or 93, 94? Because the NBA cards run.
Yeah, they're split. Yeah, they're both. Oh, I said Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I meant MVP. That's my bad. No, yeah. Big Ben.
I've put away a couple Big Bens. I don't know where they're going to. When his legacy is all said and done, he's got some titles, and he won some titles young.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're going to put him when they start, talking about the top 5 or top 10 quarterbacks ever. He plays in a great market. You can't go wrong buying Steelers. Steelers fans will buy anything. They'll buy defensive players, So,
Troy Polamalu, man.
yeah, Palomalu, my guy from Miami, we traded away Minka Fitzpatrick. He went up there and always won defensive MVP. But
Yeah, I mean,
I have a couple Roethlisbergers, but
Big
I think
Ben. Yeah, like you said, he won his Super Bowl super early in his career. Definitely kind of was drafted almost into the perfect situation. Maybe not perfect, but being in a Pittsburgh, a franchise such as Pittsburgh is just kind of just a blessing for him because they have such good ownership. Robert Horry.
Robert Horry's got a lot of rings with a lot of different teams. He hit some big shots.
Do you think Eli Manning will get to the Hall of Fame? That is a really good question, Owen. He's got what, two rings, right? Yeah.
You know what I think it's going to depend on? I think it's going to depend on the class every year because I don't think he's first ballot. So I think it's going to be who is up for it at the same time as him, and that's going to be the deciding factor that I think.
I think eventually he could get in, but yeah, definitely not first ballot.
I mean, the only way I could see him first ballot is if it was a weak class.
Yeah, that's fair. Who retired with him? That's a good question, Jay.
Yeah, but it's just not about the guys that retired with him. It's also about guys who are already waiting.
PSA, Matt from PSA Collector thinks Eli's a Hall of Famer. I tend to agree just because he obviously doesn't have all of the accolades that the other guys we were talking about do. But 2 Super Bowl championships.
Yeah, 2 Super Bowl championships. Like, again, I'm a little bitter when people talk about a Super Bowl championship defining somebody because I'm a Dan Marino fan.
Sure.
But yeah, I get it. Larry Fitzgerald.
What about the GOAT going to Tampa Bay? Yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah, man. I think it's going to be weird. It's already weird. They already have the mock-up, kind of, altered pictures of him in the in the Bucs jerseys. It's so strange seeing him in anything but that red, white, and blue of the Patriots, man. But I don't know. Him and Gronk might cook something up. Who knows? That offense looks pretty potent this year for Tampa.
I'm glad he's gone. Get out of the AFC East.
Well, I'm a Browns fan, so I just kind of gotta, cross our fingers and throw a Hail Mary every season.
Hey, they got the pieces in place. They're in a tough division, but the pieces are in place.
Yeah, I think, man, last year I think would have been just with Ben being out, and everything. Obviously the Ravens were pretty damn dominant, but last year they just did not live up to anyone's expectations, I don't think. Hopefully, that might actually be a sleeper pick too. I'm not sure exactly how much Baker's Prism's going for right now, but it can't be too much.
I bought some Baker's. The hype is going up on him. I bought some Baker's selects. I bought the select silvers because they were cheap. I got a couple in a lot for $35 each. PSA 10s. I still have a couple over here. I just flipped one the other night for 110. So I bought it for 35.
Nice.
I was happy to pay 110 for it before the at least before the season because it covered the cost of what I paid for all of the ones that I have. From here on out, anyone that I sell is going to be 100% profit. Whether he lives up to the hype or not.
Yeah, we'll see, man. And then OBJ, Odell out there kind of going against the grain.
The weapons are there. Landry, they got a good running game. They drafted offensive linemen.
Oh yeah, Nick Chubb's an excellent running back.
Yeah, for sure. And they kept Kareem Hunt. I think he's a good. he's a good situational back. I mean, he's a good back anyway, but they use him situationally.
Yeah, so I got Chubb's stats up here. Yeah, I mean he rushed last year for almost 1,500 yards. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm hopeful, but I don't know. It feels like every year I'm hopeful, and then they dash my dreams somehow. So I don't know. Kind of used to it at this point. Could be a bust. Yeah, Century Valley. I definitely agree. Baker is tough. Could be a bust, or it could be great. Yeah, I definitely don't think there's any middle ground with him. It's not like he's gonna be a middle of the road guy. That's very true.
Deshaun Watson. Yeah, Deshaun Watson was a good buy. I'm not buying his stuff now because it got too high. I'm actually turned a couple items, but
yeah,
he could possibly be on another team after the season. I think he's in a contract year, and I don't think he's happy there. Sometimes I like to think of certain scenarios, but could you imagine Stidham struggling in New England and Deshaun Watson coming out of a contract year and signing somewhere like New England? That's you imagine card values and stuff if something like that happened.
What do you think about Cam Newton potentially? I mean, I know he's not signed yet, but if he signs with somebody, I know the Patriots kind of said they were off of him.
This is the first year that I can recall where the supply of quality quarterbacks outweighs the demand. There's a lot of quarterbacks that, in any other year, Cam Newton would have been signed. But there's a lot of teams that have gotten quarterbacks, and then there's quarterbacks out there that are still floating around looking for jobs. I mean, Andy Dalton finally landed in Dallas, but I don't think that if he was in a contract negotiation going on in Dallas that he would have landed there. With Dak, they don't know what's going on with Dak yet. He wants so much money.
Yeah, it's going to be not pretty, I think. There might be a very long holdout in Dak's future, especially if, the big red machine starts putting up numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Central Valley is talking about Kirk Cousins. And the other thing about Kirk Cousins is that his rookies are out of that 2012 prison set. So,
dang.
Yeah, if he takes off as a player, or the Vikings have been contending. It only takes a playoff run to be able to make money off a quarterback. I did so well off Ryan Tannehill stuff last year, and it's stuff that I had because I'm a Dolphins fan. So I bought his stuff as a Dolphins fan, and then I thought he was done and over with. I thought those cards were just going to be cards I was going to be stuck with forever. And then he comes back last year with Tennessee, and they knock off New England and Baltimore in the playoffs. I turned all that stuff, and it was like a godsend almost.
Yeah. Josh Allen, Central Valley and Cardboard Max. I definitely agree. Josh Allen might be a nice little sneaky pickup.
I'm really big on Josh Allen stuff. I have quite a bit invested in him. I let some stuff go too early, but I do have some good stuff still.
Cool. So we kind of covered a lot of NFL. So it's kind of Russell Wilson, Hall of Famer. I could definitely see that. Central Valley.
He's a Hall of Famer already.
I could definitely see that. I kind of wanted to switch gears on over to just talking baseball. Just because that's my bread and butter. That's my favorite sport.
That's yours. I'm getting the baseball a little bit better. But I know the major players. I don't know a lot of the younger prospects unless it's Jason Dominguez or something, but but I don't know I don't know the sneaky guys.
Yeah. Here, I'll put a banner up and then we can. So I've been picking up some kind of older guys. I usually try and find kind of the 2 or 3 year pros, that everybody's kind of aware of, but I see see a spot and maybe they're so Matt Chapman. Sorry, Matt Chapman, not Matt Adams.
Yeah.
Matt Chapman is a guy I started talking about about a month and a half ago. His PSA 10s were right around 25, 20, 30-ish. eBay prices, you could $20 give or take on any given sale. But that's a guy I've been picking up pretty much nonstop. His prices are starting to pick up. I'm starting to see those prices. Those PSA 10s are in the $40 to $60 range now. So if you were buying those when I was shouting at the top of the roofs to buy, you might have made a little bit of money. But I personally think Chapman specifically is a long-term hold. And a lot of my picks, honestly, are mid to long-term holds. I'm not so much when I buy basketball cards. Sometimes I'm like trying to flip just because they can spike so fast. But baseball,
show us your cards.
What's that?
He said, "Show us your cards." Matt, PSA collector, did. What does he want to see? You can show a couple cards if you want to see a couple.
I don't even know. Mine are behind the green screen, man.
I have a couple over here. So some graded stuff.
The only ones I got around. I got that.
I was looking up sets, and I remember Matt talking about he liked insert sets with the lightning look, and I had come across the Thunderclap, and I was going to say something in tomorrow's live stream, but then on his last video, he was showing cards of the Thunderclap Bonds insert, which was something I was actually going to mention because it was something that I knew that he would probably like, just for the looks of it, the aesthetics, not even necessarily, it being. See, he's about the low-hanging fruit. Right now, I'm about that fruit that's not even ripe yet. I'm trying to pick that unripe fruit. I'm trying to pick that those tennis cards, that stuff that's still in the soil.
Yeah. So somebody said Freddie Freeman. Yeah, I agree. Freddie Freeman, Bobby, is a great pick. His price has been slowly picking up. I think he's still a great long-term pick, though. I definitely think when it's all said and done, he'll be a Hall of Famer.
Tony Hawk. You see the Tony Hawk on there? I can't see the glare.
Oh my God, yeah.
I love this card. Sports Illustrated for Kids, Tony Hawk.
That's awesome. But somebody I've been picking up kind of passively, and he's real cheap. His raws are at least real cheap. Alex Rodriguez. I know people hate him, and his career kind of ended the exact opposite of Derek Jeter's. He did not have the bells and whistles and this, the whole let's, celebrate my career. He kind of just got forced out of New York because ownership was tired of him and the fans were tired of him and everybody was basically tired of him. But I've been picking up some of his Flair rookie cards for right around, I don't know, $8 to $12. It kind of just, eBay. But Tommy Edman, E-Man, yeah. Tommy Edman is an interesting player because he does everything. I actually, in my last video, I think the video that came out today, I joked that I pulled one in my break, and I joked that he could probably pitch if they needed him to, because that's how good of a utility guy he is for St. Louis. So Trevor Story, E-Man, yeah, I like Trevor Story as well. PSA, yeah, picking up that low-hanging fruit, absolutely.
Like anybody that hits in cores.
Yeah, Trevor Story, man, he's great. Obviously, I've been on Nolan. I think I have 4 or 5 Nolans. So Nolan Arenado. He's starting to get up there though, too, in price. Even his raws are like 25, 30. So A-Rod will go up. I don't know why, but he will, man. I think it's possible he could be a Hall of Famer eventually. Yeah. Eventually, the sports writers are going to just accept the steroid era, right? That's my thought, at least. Like, eventually.
My thoughts on A-Rod over any of the other guys from that era is that he has the hype going for him. When I mean hype, I mean like he's still in the media. He's still like a popular figure.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times that something that drives somebody's card is not necessarily their production, it's their popularity. he's still popular. He's still somebody that people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about him now, and there's a lot of guys. We don't talk about Sammy Sosa. I mean, they're going to do that documentary, but I mean, how often do we talk about Sammy Sosa?
Yeah, about a month after that documentary's over, nobody's going to talk about him too much.
Sammy Sosa. It's just other than what he did on the field, and that, the chase, what happened, what else makes him popular, a lot of times it's the hype and everything else around the player on top of the production. I mean, the production is great. You want the production, but there's always has to be that it factor, else something else about somebody that actually, pushes those cards over the top.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think eventually all the greats and Matt, PSA collectors in the comments saying, basically Bonds, Roger Clemens, all those guys from the late 80s, 90s will get in. I tend to agree. I've thought that for years. Those were my, I'm 30. Those were my heroes. Those were my favorite players. Obviously Bonds, I absolutely despise, being a Cardinals fan, and I personally think he stole MVPs from Pujols. So it is what it is, though. And you got to respect the numbers. And he was a great player. You ask any baseball player from that time who was the best player they've ever seen, Barry Bonds is the first person they mention. Yeah. It's like him or King Griffey Jr., but Bonds is usually the guy that people say. So,
but like Bonds, because I have some friends from Pittsburgh, and during the Bonds Bonilla days with the with the Pirates, Bonds was a different player. He was more like a leadoff guy. He hit 20 homers, steal a lot of bases, but he was still he was still an all-star. He was still a great player. Even if he was that type of player for his career, he's a Hall of Famer. He did become more of a power hitter, because, whatever reasons, people want to allegate. But I believe that he showed he was a talented player before that.
Yeah, Eric says, I don't respect Bonds' numbers. It's just, I understand where you're coming from, Eric. I really do, but it kind of is what it is at this point, I definitely think, I wish that Pujols could have kept his production up, because he was like the last person that had a legitimate shot at cracking the home run title. Obviously, he'd have to play till he was about 50 with pretty good production to try and get close to that home run record at this point. But
we need like 3 seasons of 20 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, this season hurts him. I mean, this really.
Oh my God! That's the main reason. I mean, obviously, I want baseball back, 100% just to watch it. But man, I'm so mad for that. Him hitting 700, Pujols hitting 700. I'm so mad this season. The whole COVID thing has happened this year.
I'm still going to be optimistic. I still think he can pull it off. And you know what? If it boils down to it, and there's a lot of meaningless games, and I don't want to say that they would give them up to him, but stuff like that happens in sports. Look at the sack record from Strahan when Favre just kind of fell to the ground. It was kind of you can see somebody serving up a couple gopher balls to Pujols just because it's a meaningless game or something.
Yeah, that's fair. That would. Oh man. Because growing up, man, those first 11 years were incredible. Rafael Palmeiro, he's another guy that is in that generation that I think wasn't Palmeiro one of the guys that the media absolutely despised, though?
Yeah, because he denied it so bad. I know, because I'm.
He was the guy. He stared at everybody in Congress. Yeah.
Period or something. I did not take him. Period.
Yeah, the next day his pee comes back dirty. Yeah, not a good look. Tiffany Bonds, $40. Dang, that's a banging the drum for the Tomei cards. I mean, yeah, that dude was great too.
Tomei, he's another guy that doesn't get talked about as much because, like I said, he was quiet. He was a quiet producer. He's not the kind of guy that was in the media a lot, but just was, slow and steady. You knew what you were going to get.
Absolutely.
But he didn't have that. You know, baseball fans know who he is. We know who he is. But if you ask somebody else that doesn't follow baseball very much, who was Jim Thome, they probably couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and that's my issue, or not issue, but like I would hesitate on Thome just because he wasn't, hype, especially nowadays. Oh my God, nowadays hype is what sells cards basically.
Mm-hmm.
It almost doesn't even matter what your stats obviously help, but
Yeah.
yeah,
With social media, man, it's more about your Twitter followers than it is about your
yeah, it's your Twitter clout. Yeah, man, but A-Rod, he came within 4 home runs of hitting 700.
Mm-hmm.
He got 696 and decided to call it a career. Obviously, not.
He got hot again at the end of his career. I remember him because I play fantasy baseball, and I remember A-Rod becoming one of those players that you could get for $1 off waivers or in an auction. And he had a monster year one year, like his last season or the season before that. And he was like $1 fantasy player and ended up putting up, big money player type numbers.
Yeah, looks like 2015. He had 33 home runs and 86 ribbies.
Yeah, he had a
good
comeback season.
Yeah, that's his first. That was the season after he was suspended for the entire year.
Yeah.
What a career he had. To just think about it. He came up being basically he was touted as King Griffey's Batman, essentially. Then he took that monster deal with Texas. That didn't work out. So he, kind of forced his way out of that situation. And he was never really accepted in New York at all.
Orioles. Back when he used to destroy my Orioles. Back when he was on Texas, my brother and I had partial season tickets for the Orioles. And I would always go to the Texas games because I was a big A-Rod fan, even though they were coming to play against my favorite team. I like to go see A-Rod play, and he would just crank the ball in Oriole Park.
He was a beast, man. I always, and this is like silly, like little kid thing, but as a kid, I liked him a lot because his name was Alex. So that was just like, oh, that's somebody with my name. And then the way his career kind of unfolded, he ended up being like the biggest villain in baseball history, almost, at least in my lifetime. So, but man, his numbers are crazy good. It's kind of like the Brian Scalabrine thing. In 3 years, I'll tell him I played. And in 10 years, I'll tell him I was MVP. Like in 20 years, are people going to remember him as being such a big villain? I don't know.
Right. So, do you want to compare to Topps 2020?
Yeah, we could talk some Topps 2020. I know a lot of people have had a lot of hot takes. Project 2020.
I want to touch on the Zion giveaway.
Oh, sure.
It's right here, and I still have it. I wanted to stream off my mobile device, and apparently you have to meet certain qualifications with YouTube, and I haven't been doing it long enough to be able to stream off my mobile device. I went everywhere today trying to buy a webcam, and apparently they're sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess Alex said they're even flipping them on the internet.
I'm seeing them pop up for more than
given away. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. If I can't do it live, which I want to do because I want people to see the randomizer, then I'll just have to do it in a regular video release and announce the winner in like my next video. But it'll definitely be done by tomorrow night. And I know some people probably came to the stream for this. I apologize for that. But I'm definitely giving it away. Just technical difficulty.
Yeah, it's they've got to have their benchmarks, I guess, on YouTube. So, but yeah, if you guys are what's that?
We can do a quick giveaway. Ask somebody a trivia question. If you follow Alex and you follow myself and you've been listening to us all night, the first person to tell us both of our favorite baseball teams. I'll send me and Alex will send you guys 2 packs of 2020 Bowman, 2 jumbo packs.
Junk wax.
Junk wax era.
So,
anybody want some 2020
Bowman? Sean getting in the comments. Central Valley getting in the comments.
He's got one of the teams, but we need to know my favorite team too. I've mentioned it a couple times tonight, but every time I do a video, there's a character in my video that people should see. He's not on the screen right now. You know what I'm talking about? Lakers and Dolphins.
PSA collector said Lakers and Dolphins.
Dolphins is right. Dolphins is right for football.
Hey, Eric. There we go. Okay.
Did he get you and mine? Yours and mine?
Yep. Cardinals and Orioles. Unless you have the Orioles bird for.
Yeah, it's Orioles. I got the old
Sean
Iron
Singh and Eric Perry. Eric, this is your second giveaway you've won from me. Making out like a bandit. That's awesome. So cool. But yeah, if you guys are watching this after the fact, make sure to head on over and follow and subscribe to Flipping Steve's over there. I'll put a link in the description and everything so you guys can follow that.
So who did we get on the packs?
Sean Singh and Eric Perry. Eric Perry got Orioles and Sean got Cardinals first. Central Valley, sorry, you typed it in just a hair too late. So cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'll throw these in. I'll throw in so we're gonna do a Bowman and a Heritage and a Bowman and a Heritage. So just have them
just reach out to me either on Twitter, Instagram, or if you're in the Facebook group that Steve runs, you can hit us up in there as well. But yeah, so Project 2020, I got everything up right here.
The Frank Thomas, the gold one is the only one that I've seen except for the one that came out today. I liked the gold one. I did not buy it. However, the one that's coming out today, that came out today, I'm not a big fan of. So I'm buying a couple, the ones that I just like the look of. I'm not buying them for value purposes or to resell.
Yeah, that's kind of so. I mean, there's a couple of bigger YouTubers than myself saying, do not buy them for investment purposes. And then there's a couple others that are saying, yeah, you should still be checking these out for maybe trying to flip. I think, obviously this one right here, the Keith Shore Griffey print run of almost 100K.
Yeah.
Probably not the best.
Yeah, that's the one that I picked up just because I liked the Griffey card. I got the Tony Gwynn, the most recent one, because I just like the looks of the card with the tropical. And Tony Gwynn, I love Tony Gwynn. He was actually my PC growing up, was Tony Gwynn, even though I was an Orioles fan. Ripken, of course, but Ripken was a little bit pricey. And being in the area that I'm in, Ripken stuff just flew off the shelves. So I was a big Tony Gwynn guy. I love Tony Gwynn.
Oh yeah, Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre himself. I did buy into the hype and got the Shore Griffey, but I also picked up, where is it? This one. This Bob Gibson print run of less than 7K, so I think I did good on that one. But I think overall, and I'll get your take too, but I think it depends. If you guys look at their Instagram followers, each one of these Instagram followers, Don C, who the cartoon, oh my gosh, he was one of the guys that did the one today. Forget his name though. The cartoon guy. Oh, Mr. Cartoon, duh. Yeah. They have a lot of subscribers on Instagram, and Instagram, especially being an artist, that is kind of the way to tell how popular somebody's art is. So I think that if you go after these to try and make a profit, I think that there's probably still a chance that this card specifically right here, this Griffey, scares a lot of people away from this. So I could see like the next week's worth of cards being potentially profitable, but buy at your own risk. I'm not telling you to go spend your life savings on Topps Project 2020 or anything, but
I honestly think that from here on out, if you're looking to flip, your higher percentage flips are going to come off of the unpopular players.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Not so many people are going to buy those. Your Jeters and Griffeys and stuff are going to get bought up, but like they had a Koufax out the other day. I could see not a lot of people buying the Koufax, and then a year from now, somebody who's wanting to put together a set is going to be hunting a Koufax.
Yeah.
There's not going to be as many of them out there. So you're going to get the collectors and set builders that are going to be the ones looking to rebuy these rather than investors. This isn't like an investor to investor sale. It's more of an investment to a collector sale.
Absolutely. Eric, yeah, I'm going to put that on screen because that's a good, I know a lot of people have a lot of hot takes on this saying, oh, my daughter, my 3-year-old daughter could do this, all sorts of like just outlandish stuff about the art itself. Obviously, as Eric says here, art is in the eye of the beholder. So, what might be complete garbage to you or somebody else is complete fire to somebody else. So I definitely agree with that. And these guys are professional artists. It's hard to be an artist nowadays. It's hard to make money and make a living off of creating art. So, but I think if you're going to be trying to buy these, yes, absolutely. The more unpopular players, like I even think, Bob Gibson, obviously a great, excellent pitcher, all-time great pitcher, but he might be, compared to some of these other guys like Jeter and Griffey are definitely not as hyped. So, and this was a little bit before the hype was really out there about Project 2020. So
it's going to be the people that missed this, the people that are getting into the hobby with a year from now, your new collectors coming in that missed it. And then they're like, oh, hey man, that's a nice card. And then they're going to go to look on eBay and look at listings, and you're going to see, 10,000 Jeters, and you're going to see, maybe 500 Koufaxes listed, so for a set builder, I could see that drawing a higher premium.
Absolutely.
Just because of the competition on the sales. It's just like PSA pop reports almost.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much exactly what they are. And I wonder if people are going to crack these and try and send them to. That's interesting.
I saw a cracked trout that was a BGS 9.5. Now I don't know if it was Photoshop or what, but I think it was an Instagram post for one of the bigger card sellers, and it was a cracked trout. I'm not sure which one it was. I can't even remember. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with a lot of the artists. I just started looking at some of these cards, and I just like the ones of the players that I liked and the ones that I think look good.
Yeah.
That's not something that I'm looking to make money off of.
Yeah, I would say buy them if you like the art or the artist or the player, if you think it looks cool. But yeah, definitely buy at your own risk at this point. And pay attention to the guys who have high Instagram followers like Ermsey, Don C, Mr. Cartoon. Those guys have a lot of Instagram followers. Tyson Beck. So, yeah, I don't know. This is really cool. I like the fact that Topps is doing this. I think this is a really cool thing that they're doing. And
what it's doing for me is it's actually educating me on some of these artists, because I've actually it's made me go to Google and Google these guys and read up on their history and read up on their art, and it actually gives you more of appreciation for the artist than it does the card. And it's interesting to me. I'm not into art or fine art or anything. I mean, I know I can appreciate a nice piece of art and stuff like that, but I mean, these guys, it's Topps has done a good thing for them by bringing some more eyes to their work, and I guess it kind of works hand in hand. It'd be nice to get some of the proofs, but I don't know. They probably go to all like the kids and the grandkids of the people that work at the Topps company.
Yeah. But cool. I mean, I like it. That's kind of all I really say on it is at your own risk. And if you dig it, buy it. You know, maybe not two just in case.
One of the best ones I've seen, and this isn't even like, I'm not even trying to blow smoke, is PSA collectors Albert Pujols.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, he's doing that when
you're
doing it.
I would be like, take my money now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
take my money. Give me Pujols. That card was nice. The colors and stuff on it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, buddy. Cool. So it's getting a bit later than when I wanted to end it. Wanted to talk a little bit about hockey, but I can save that for another time. We can do this again at a later date. I wanted to keep it about an hour long, and we just eclipsed an hour. So, but thank you everybody for checking this stream out. If you're watching, looks like we got 25 viewers, which is awesome. Thank you all for hanging out. So to the winners, Eric and Sean, get at us, either get at me or Steve on either Instagram. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, or in the Facebook group, which if you want, Steve, you can post a link to that Facebook group, or I can, or one of us can, in the comment section of this video after we go off. You can just click it and join if you want. But yeah, everybody, thank you all for watching. Go check out Steve's channel, Flipping Steve. If you search that, you'll find it on YouTube. If you've made it this far and you're watching this after the fact and haven't yet hit that subscribe button, hit it. Join the team. I post videos every single day. Got some pretty cool things in the works. Doing more collab videos like this with other guys out on YouTube, other collectors. So I got a lot in the woodwork. So yeah, everybody, thanks for watching, and until next time.
So you got to hit for the cycle. You got to like, subscribe, notification, and comment. Boom,
exactly.
Boom, boom. Hit for the cycle.
Hit for the cycle. Love it. Absolutely, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I think tomorrow around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time or noon Central Standard Time. I can't remember. One of those times, me, PSA Collector, and Boris from the Hobby Box are going to be doing another live stream. So check us out. I think we're doing it on this channel. So check that out. It's either going to be on this channel or Boris's channel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be on this one, though. But yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. Keep cracking, keep collecting, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Adios.
Great, guys.